My name is Jerry, so if you need to, if you have a question, you can see me or whatever. Anyway, welcome to the 5th annual Reston Sprint Triathlon. As you know, the course starts in the pool. I don't know how many people have done a triathlon before. I know we tend to attract some people. This is their first. You may have a lot of anxiety about it. Other people have done so many they can't count. Doesn't matter. You're all here to have fun. If it's your first or your first sprint, the best, unless you're really feeling you're going to compete, the best is just to do it and get a good feel for the course, so the next time you come back, you can work hard at it and really attack the course. Because this course on the bike has some challenges to it that you need to be aware of when you're doing the bike, so that you don't run into an issue with some safety thing and have an accident. Starting off with the swim, one of the things we're going to do a little differently this year on the swim is that last year we'd send everybody off at 5-second intervals, but we had a gap between individuals. Say like if number 20 went off at a particular time frame, and the next athlete, say 21 through 27, didn't show up, you had to wait that period of time before the next athlete went in the water. This year we're putting a timing pad before you get into the water. So what's going to happen is they're going to set you to go. You're going to be back away from the pool. You go across the timing pad, and then you will jump into the water. And no diving. If you dive, you'll be disqualified, because the idea is we want to have everybody have the same kind of start, but also there's a real safety issue. If you dive, if the person that started out in front of you didn't get far enough in front, and you happen to dive, they might stop while you're on you. That creates a real safety issue. So everybody's going to be treated equally in terms of the way they start. You go across the pad, you start. So consequently, you're not going to have a particular time that you're going to know that you're going to start. It's going to be based on when you go across the timing pad. Generally, everybody will have about a 5-second gap, but it really doesn't matter if they give you 10 seconds or if they give you 4 seconds, because the person in front of you was a real fast swimmer or something. You're still going to be timed according to that going across the mat. So it'll be a good idea to have your fingers on your watch before they tell you your time, so that you're ready to go. As soon as they tell you to go, just start your watch, go across it, and then you'll be able to have your time as you do the race. Key to remember too in the swim is try to stay on the right side of your lane. You're going to be everybody in your lane, because we're sending people off through one chute, and it's a 50-yard or 50-meter pool. Each length you swim is going to be 50 meters. You'll do 8 lengths. It'll give you the quarter mile. So you're going to start on the far side of the pool. So when you line up, you'll be lining up on the far side of the pool and around. And you'll swim, if you stay on the right side of the lane when you're swimming, if you're slower, it'll allow people that are faster than you to come around and go by you. So that at least, and if you feel that you're pulling up on somebody, you can go around them. If you go off on the left, then you're going to start having people bunching up and everything. So just try to remember to stay to the right. Take your time. If you really feel that you're having trouble swimming or whatever, the easiest way is just go to the end at the 50-meter stop, and you can wait at the end of the lane, catch your breath if you've hyperventilated or whatever, relax a little bit, then go under the rope. The easiest way, if you're a good swimmer, you know what you're doing. When you get close to the end of the lane, swim under the rope before you get to the lane, so you can do a turn from the other side. It's quicker rather than going to the end of your lane and trying to swim back under people. So be aware of that. You got 8 lengths. You're going to get out. You can either do one or two things when you get out at the end of the pool. You can go directly to the end of the pool. You have to go directly to the end of the pool, and you can hop out there, or there's about maybe within 3 to 5 yards is the ladder. You can come back to the ladder and get out there. You'll come out of the pool, and you're going to come up at that end, come right over into the transition area. So you'll cross over the timing mat there, come into this transition area, find your bike, and then you're going to come out the transition area. From there, you have to walk your bike. Anybody not walking their bike through the transition area to the mounting area will be, again, disqualified or a timing penalty. So you have to walk to the end. It'll be on the right-hand side because the exit is going to be on the right-hand side because you're going to go out up this street. So you're going to be going to the other side of the street. You mount your bike. When you get on your bike, the first obstacle that you're really going to, well, a couple things. You're going to need to worry about other people that are coming out and maybe passing you or whatever. So if you're getting on your bike and you're trying to really be fast, make sure that you're not getting in the way of somebody else because they might be coming right behind you, because some people will come out and literally hop on their bike as they're moving. They're not going to stop to hop on their bike. So sometimes that can create a problem if you're not watching what you do. Always try to be aware of what's going on around you, because if you're not, somebody else may not be paying attention either. If you get two people not paying attention, it's a recipe for an accident. When you get up to the corner to Reston Parkway, which is, if I can show you on this side now, for this, when you get up to the corner, there's going to be a merge area, a small merge area where you come in. The athletes, if you're later in the race, remember, athletes are going to be racing down here. This is a fairly fast part of the course. You might have a bicyclist coming at you at 30 miles an hour. So if you don't stay in that merge area until you get up to any kind of speed, you're asking for somebody to hit you. So just remember that these guys are coming at you, and if they've already lapped you, they're probably a pretty fast cyclist. So it's important to have some consideration for them, as well as care about your own body so that you don't lose it on an accident. So as soon as you get up here, it's going to be 3 loops around here. This is a fairly good part of the course, fairly fast part of the course. The first real issue that you're going to have is coming down here to Wheelie Avenue. This is a slight downhill. It's a fast turn. It's also more than a 90-degree turn. So if you're coming down to the intersection and if you haven't seen that place or whatever, if you think, oh, well, it's a regular, and I'm going to line myself up like it's a regular course, what's going to happen is you're going to overshoot that turn because it's not a square corner. It's about maybe a 100-degree turn, and you don't want to overshoot that, because if you come out that too fast, it's going to carry you out into a lane which is going to cause a problem for you, but also you may end up hitting another bike that has actually planned the right turn, and you're out of control. So again, if it's your first loop around or your first triathlon, make sure that you pay attention to that turn, because you're not, you're going to run into more speed than what you may need to do that turn. If you lose 2 seconds or 3 seconds on a turn, it's not a big deal. You can make it up somewhere else. But if you fall down or have an accident, you're going to lose a lot more than a few seconds. So it's not worth it. So remember, when you get into that turn, slow down and try to pick a good line. But remember, your line is going to be more than a normal turn. This section of the course is a little bit of rolling hills, but generally, again, it's more downhill, especially when you get on the other side here of Barron Cameron Park. When you get over here, you really pick up a lot of speed heading down towards Barron Cameron. It is a slight uphill right before you get to the turn. The problem is that you've picked up, if you're really moving on that bicycle, you've picked up an awful lot of speed, and you don't lose it when you get into this turn. Again, if you're not watching, there's a wide area to turn here, but again, you have some pretty high-speed traffic coming up on Barron Cameron. It's all coned off, but if you come around that corner flying, it's going to carry you out into traffic again. So again, this is a good, a normal turn. There's an extra space, But again, you can be carrying too much speed, and if it pulls you into the traffic, or if you got to sit there and try to maneuver to stay in the traffic, it can be a little bit of a safety problem. It's just something to be aware of. Again, these things, as long as you're aware of them, it's a lot easier to deal with it than just having it come up as a surprise. Your issue here on Barron Cameron, if you haven't ridden on it, is that there's a couple hills. And especially the last one, it gets to be long and a little tough. So it just, all you can do is just try to take it easy. Push up the hill. If you're really strong on the bike, then you'll benefit by that hill, because it's going to be your friend. But if you're not in shape, it's not your friend. When you get up here, actually what they're going to do this year is they're going to put a timing mat up in this section, because one of the reasons they're doing it is because it's one of the slowest portions of the course. So this is the way that they're going to know that you made 3 loops. So if you don't do 3 loops, we'll know it. As opposed to usually the way we figure it out, if somebody hasn't done 3 loops, is you can look at their time. You see that they did a real slow swim, a real slow run, and they burned it up on the bike. And usually you know that people, will at least be somewhat close. And so this way at least we'll know who's done the 3 loops or not. Again, you're again on Reston Parkway. Remember that there's going to be regular traffic in the other lane on that. But remember that there's always going to be traffic. You don't want to ever go out into the traffic lane, because no matter what, you may not hear traffic out there or whatever, but if it is there, it could be a big problem. If you have a problem, pull off to the right and find a volunteer, and they can get a hold of somebody. At the end of the 3rd lap, you're going to have to slow down as you approach, because you're coming back to Lake Newport again. So you have to slow down. There is a turn lane for here. So just remember, you're going to have to slow down. And again, it's another sharp turn. So it's not only slowing down, but remember, you got to slow down so that you can dismount. And you're going to be dismounting on a slight downhill, which is also a little bit of a problem, because no matter what, you're going to be carrying speed. You got to think about doing 2 or 3 things at the same time. You got to brake, slow down, and get off your bicycle. You have to get off at the dismount area. You cannot, if you go beyond that or whatever, it's going to be a penalty. You come in, again, you're going to be on the right-hand side. Stay on the right-hand side and go back. Go to your bicycle rack, do that, get on your running clothes, and you're going to be going right out that way, basically almost the same way that you came into the bike transition area. The run path goes out over to North Village Road, and we'll start on that. Run course is relatively simple. It's all essentially all on Reston Pass, and that path, as I said, you will be going out by on the other side of the pool. The path, Reston Pass starts. You will go out that path, and then you'll make a sharp left on the path along North Village, and follow that. You want to stay on the right-hand side again. Now, it's the reason for staying on the right-hand side. We'll show you. You're going to follow this path down North Village. There's a picnic pavilion down in here. It's going to cross over right by you may not notice the picnic pavilion, but the course is going to cross right over the road, right at that picnic pavilion. Stay on it. Again, there may be 1 or 2. See, like there's a little path that comes off here. The course will be marked, but don't take that path. This one will go off to the left. The other path, again, will go off to the right. This other path is going to go off to the right. If you get down to a pool down here, you've gone the wrong path. So don't go down there. But anyway, this path will take you directly up to Wheelie Avenue. And you're going to go under Wheelie Avenue. You won't really see them, but the bikes will be going overhead on Wheelie when you're going under it. And immediately after this tunnel, you're going to make a right. And it's going to be uphill here. It's a nice uphill. This will take you all the way up to Center Harbor. And when you do Center Harbor, that's relatively simple. You're going to run down this way on the Center Harbor down a good bit, and then follow that. The path will go off into the woods again. And the path there is going to be an equally nice downhill. So essentially you're going to be running uphill up to Center Harbor. This will be somewhat flat and to a little bit of downhill. And then this is going to be downhill a good bit. Most of the way there's a couple an uphill. And then again you're going to be downhill when you get back down to here. And then you're going to come back to this the end of the lollipop. The one thing you want is water stop is going on the run course is going to be right there at that. So if you're for some reason you need water, you have two opportunities to get water there. There'll be also water at the start of the run and the finish of the run, and then basically it's back to the end. And as long as you stay on the right, the one issue here, if you're on the left coming here, runners are going to be coming back right at that. And when you get out from underneath the tunnel, it's a real quick. You're right on the loop point. So if you're in the wrong side, somebody might be coming right at you to hit you, even on the run. So stay on the right the whole course. You come back up here, up and down these little hills in North Hills. They don't call it North Hills for no reason at all. Up and down until you get to this. The finish line. The finish line will be out on the street before you get into this area. In fact, it's not very far. Once you make this turn, you're almost going to be on that finish line. And then you're home free. Your chip pickup is anytime after 5:30. I can tell you this, it sometimes will back up there and you're all anxious in the morning. Just remember that the higher your number, you don't necessarily have to get your chip really, really early. I mean, you need to be here to get it on time, because you got to remember that the people handing out the chips are also the people that are doing the timing. So you have to get the chip early enough so that they have time to make sure that they can start the race on time. So before, you have to be probably by 6:30, 7 or 6:45, you need to have your chip. The transition area, I've been asked what time they're going to close it in the morning, but one of the issues with that is that because people are starting at all different times, it's not always an issue to leave it open or closed. Something else that I learned last year after all the years I've been doing triathlons is that I forgot my swim goggles. Fortunately, somebody else had it, but somebody said always bring 2 pair of swim goggles to an event, just in case you forget one or you have one that malfunctions, because sometimes they'll malfunction and then you have it. At least I was lucky that a woman let me borrow a second pair of goggles so I could do the swim last year. So the little things like that when you prepare in the morning, just make sure you don't forget things.